today we got to cover Toshi, and we're going over this for a request for a new member. So if you guys want to make special requests like this to have me do a full technical analysis on a project, go ahead and become a member of the channel. Let's get straight into it. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. And right now we are seeing Toshi, pretty much everything had a nice pump in the last week or two. But Toshi's down in the last 24 hours, 4.8%. But yeah, in the last week, 25% pretty much up and 27% up in the last 2 weeks. So everything has pretty much benefited from that. But before that had happened, Toshi was just like everything else, right? Everything was steady going down, and pretty much everything went down by a good 50%. If you look at this 3 months ago, Toshi had 400 million in market cap, 417 million. Now it's at 153 million. So Toshi went down more than 50% in the last 3 months. But in the last year, it's up 106% still. So when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, Toshi's still doing pretty well. If you bought it exactly 365 days ago, you would still be up 106%, which is actually still pretty impressive. But what we have seen here with Toshi, this whole drawdown here was pretty bad. It was a falling wedge. And again, falling wedges are supposed to be bullish patterns, but it doesn't always happen that way. I think it's like a 72% win rate to the upside. So anyways, that falling wedge happened, and then we entered into a symmetrical triangle from there. And when you enter into a symmetrical triangle from a downtrend, that is typically a bearish symmetrical triangle. It's typically going to be bearish. And that's exactly what happened with Toshi. And then boom, we ended up bottoming out all the way down here at 0.000295. So I'm just going to say 295 for now on, or whatever the number is. I'm not even going to mention the zeros. So we went all the way down to 295, and we did kind of what looks to be a double bottom. Now, double bottoms don't have to be perfectly aligned at the bottom, right? They don't have to be perfectly horizontal, but they can still be double bottoms, or still considered to be double bottoms, which is a bullish pattern. So then after that, we are where we are now inside of Toshi. So let's break this down. So we see currently, this is the daily chart, and this is the MACD on the daily chart. We could consider this a bullish divergence case. We could, because the lows are becoming higher here. And if you come back here and look at this, we're seeing the lows here on that MACD increasing. So hypothetically, or technically speaking, we should see more buying pressure coming into the MACD. But there's a possibility that we don't. You always got to take that into account. And this is the %R trend exhaustion on Toshi for the daily chart. So the white line is short-term trend, blue line, long-term trend. Whenever we have the short-term trend breaking far past the long-term trend, we're always going to pull back down to that long-term trend. So just like how I did back here, Toshi should be pulling back again. And if the long-term trend continues upwards and then it meets Toshi like halfway or something, then it's probably going to continue to trend upwards from there. So what would that look like here? Well, the same way we've seen that pullback from there to there, we could see Toshi pulling back again to 295. But if it pulls back down to 295 or even halfway, and then you see the long-term trend kind of meeting the short-term trend here, then it could continue upwards. So right now, what I'm expecting is a pullback for Toshi back down to this 295 area. And maybe it creates like an official double bottom, right? So I think we are going to see that pullback coming here inside of Toshi. So we'll see if Bitcoin continues to uptrend. Of course, everything else is going to continue to go up. A drop down to 295 from the current levels in Toshi would be 18%. negative 18%. So we would see that 18% drop if that happens. I'm watching Bitcoin closely because Bitcoin is kind of in the same space, and it's kind of doing the same thing with the percent R trend exhaustion. The short-term trend has broke far past the long-term trend, so we're going to end up seeing that short-term trend pulling back and bringing the price down with it. So I do believe Bitcoin is going to continue to break down here. We might see Bitcoin go to 90K. We might even see Bitcoin come all the way down to 85K and possibly even 80K. And then that would be the bull case for us for a double bottom. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then boom. And that is pretty much what the double bottom would look like. So that's what I'm watching currently when it comes to Bitcoin and Satoshi. So yes, I do think that Toshi could pull back some more, back down to 295, and that would be an 18% drop. Now, if we look at the 4-hour chart, this kind of it could kind of confirm it for us, but we have some things forming up on the shorter time frames that you would want to definitely pay attention to. For one, we are seeing the selling pressure is probably going to start coming into here. And also, when you look at the MACD, when you see the highs on the MACD going lower, that is called bearish divergence. So if we start to see this forming like this, and then another lower high like this, and then another one, then that is bearish divergence, and it's indicating that we're about to have a bigger drop coming inside of the near future. And this is on the 4-hour chart. So if that happens, that could confirm our drop all the way down to 295 on Toshi. And then if you look at the percent R trend exhaustion, you see both the long-term and short-term trend are both actively curving downwards. So that is another telltale signal that we actually might have a bigger pullback coming into store for Toshi. Now we can then pull up the 2-hour chart. This is the 2-hour, and the 2-hour is going to show you something differently. So when you look at the percent R trend exhaustion on the 2-hour, notice the short-term trend has broken down and it almost oversold, and the long-term trend is going down slowly. That means once the short-term trend is completely oversold, it's going to come back up. You'll see the price rising, and you'll see the long-term trend kind of like curving here, and then it's going to have an intersection here. When it hits this intersection here, sometimes it could break up, sometimes it could break down. It all depends on the volume and the way the volume is going. Last time we had that was back here, and when that happened, the price continued on an uptrend. So you can see how it happened here, or not here actually, right here. Short-term trend continued down, long-term trend went halfway, and then they both intercepted and continued upwards. So that's why I said it's a mixture of what could happen, and we don't really know, right? Anything could happen at that point. It's a mixture. So that's what I would say for that. So we're gonna have to watch that to see exactly what happens, but then we can go and break it down even further into the hourly chart to see what we're seeing here, to see if we can find any more information on that. So when you look at the hourly chart now and you come to the MACD, seeing a lot more selling pressure building up, right? The selling pressure is building up. And then if you come over here and look at the percent R trend exhaustion, you can see both of these are slowly but surely making its way down to being oversold, which kind of confirms that another pullback could be in store for Toshi. And if we're looking at this and trying to make sense of this and doing seeing if we have a pattern, because we can't just make patterns out of thin air. If we wanted to see if we had a pattern, this could be an ascending triangle. So if we are indeed and in fact bullish, the next level for us would technically be 428. 428. So we are going to look for that 428 area, 0.000428, if this is not broken. If this trend line is broken on this ascending channel, then we're in for a rude awakening, and the next level that we're going to want to watch out for is going to be 3.3. So that 3.3 level, we've had multiple levels of resistance. Once here, once here, and then a little bit of it was trading sideways around that area, so I guess we can consider that the same. So that is what we would be looking for if this channel is broken. So if you see Toshi go below 3.6, then expect it to immediately go down to 3.3, or almost immediately down to 3.3 if it goes below 3.6. So that is something that you're going to want to watch out for with Toshi. And the way it's looking and the way it's breaking down, it looks like it's about to break. It looks like it's about to break. So that is definitely a telltale signal that we might have a pullback, an even further pullback coming in for Toshi. And then if we look at the 30-minute chart, just look how it's slowly trickling down on the percent R trend exhaustion. And then if you pull this up, very, very, very little volume. Very little volume here. But again, we could make the argument for bullish divergence because the lows are getting higher and higher right here on the percent R trend exhaustion on the MAC, or not the percent R trend exhaustion, on the MACD. The lows are getting higher and higher here, which could be a signal that an uptrend could happen. And that's why I mentioned this ascending channel, because if this level isn't broken right now, then we should make that way up here if it's not broken. So watch out for that. Pull up these charts on your own trading view and copy this to a T. Look at this area here, and all you got to do is take one of these lines, draw it up from there, and make sure it's lining up here. If it breaks below that channel right there, then we are pretty much looking for an even further downtrend. And it does look like it might break that soon. And then if you want to take it another step further, bring up an even more short-term chart, we can bring up the 15-minute. The 15-minute chart has somewhat of a falling wedge. Not really a falling wedge, but this is actually a descending triangle, if I were to say that actually. So we're going to line this up here, take that off, line this up. And descending triangles are actually bearish patterns. So this could be the confirmation you're looking for. And again, if it breaks below the 3600 area, then it's going to almost immediately go down to 3.3. Well, it'll probably stop here first, because it is looking like we have some support at 3.5, but it'll probably end up going down to that 3.3 area. And again, descending triangles are bearish patterns. So I'm thinking that this pullback is probably going to end up happening here with Toshi soon. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get this video out as quick as possible for the member. Big shout out to her. She just now became a member of the channel, but become a member of the channel, guys, and you can make a special request for me to do a technical analysis on whatever project you want, as long as it's not a low cap scam coin. But yeah, Toshi is looking bearish right now. And really all you gotta watch for right now is Bitcoin, because that's going to tell you the direction everything else is going. And Bitcoin is overall inside of a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. So what I'm watching out for is going to be Bitcoin breaking out of this rising wedge and possibly going down to 85K and even all the way down to 80K. I think if Bitcoin hits 80K, we might have that rare case of a double bottom. And then that could be the actual relief rally, which is why I think that we're actually going through a bull trap. So that's what I'm thinking right now for Bitcoin. And when you think about Toshi, everything's going to follow Bitcoin. So, and Toshi's also showing us some weakness with this descending triangle. So yeah, I think we're about to break down to this 3.3 level down here. And again, I'm going to show you guys the levels again. We're going to zoom out to the 4-hour chart, show you guys these important levels that you need to see. So first, if Toshi breaks out of this level here, we're then looking for it to come down to 0.00033. And then from there, probably gonna have some type of trying to pump from there, getting up to 0.00035, and then coming down further all the way down to 0.00029. So that is what I'd watch out for. And if Toshi does that, I would be willing to bet that Bitcoin would be coming down at the same time. If that happens, as a if. Because on the percent R trend exhaustion, if Bitcoin stops halfway and continues back up on the percent R trend exhaustion, then it stays bullish. But as of right now, I'm pretty bearish for the time being. But yep, this is all I got for you guys today, though. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Again, big shout out to the members. Big shout out to the new member for recommending this and also advances. So shout out to you guys. Become a member of the channel, guys. If you want to go ahead and make these special requests, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, you can actually come over here and go to the description in the channel or I mean the description of the video or the comment section of the video, and you can donate directly through a Solana donation or a BNB donation, and it would be greatly appreciated. But anyways, shout out to you guys. Again, hit the like button, subscribe. As always, I'll be back with another video.